In this video, I'm going to talk about the pharmacodynamics of the new immunization therapeutic for malaria. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar, and this is Big Discussions 76, Science and Technology. First of all, please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. Also, if you want to throw something in the tip jar, that information is below in the description box for this video. Well, guys and gals, I just wanted to come back and make a short follow-up video to my previous pre-record regarding the Plasmodium life cycle and malaria. The way or the genesis for that video was an article that I don't know if things get randomly sent to our smartphones. I think, these things are being fed to us from someplace. But I received an article saying that the World Health Organization had, if I recall correctly, just endorsed a new immunization for malaria. And as I was doing the research for this video, I realized that I can use the word immunization in the place of another word which begins with a V, which I'm being very, very careful about using because that word is being policed. And so there's an immunization for another disease state. There's an immunization for our current world event. But I think in this video I'm going to use the word immunization in the place of that dangerous V word. So that's where that video for or regarding the Plasmodium and malaria came from. And afterwards, or maybe during that video at the beginning, I stated that that would be an introduction, and then I would follow up with another offering talking about how the immunization for malaria works. So that's going to be the meat and potatoes of this video. I'm going to try to make sure this doesn't go too long. And if you want to go back and look at the life cycle of the Plasmodium, that's in the previous video. So in this one, I'm just going to talk briefly about the pharmacodynamics of how this immunization works, and then I'll wrap it up. I'm wearing my Michigan Pharmacology t-shirt, or should I say one of them. I just want to state that I'm not officially representing the department, but more so just showing support and support for my alma mater. So let's jump in right now. So let's put our pharmacology hats on right now. And I think that I've probably mentioned these terms throughout my content, and I'm going to go back and I think make some pre-records parsing some of these things out even further, because I haven't done that on this channel. But two terms you hear when you're learning about pharmacology are, especially in the private sector, and most private sector companies like Pfizer, Merck, Amgen, Biogen, whatever, they have a PK PD division. PK stands for Pharmacokinetics. That deals with how your body handles the molecule once it goes inside, and then Pharmacodynamics. Pharmacodynamics deals with the actual mechanism of the molecule. So how does the molecule exert its therapeutic effect? If you think about something like Viagra or sildenafil citrate, what that does is it's a phosphodiesterase inhibitor. I'm not going to get into all the biochemistry here, but that's basically how a man gets his prolonged or new and improved sexual response. A drug like guanabens, which was arguably the basis for my graduate thesis, that drug is an antihypertensive, so it binds, I believe, to an adrenergic receptor in the central nervous system, or is it the peripheral nervous system? In any case, it binds an adrenergic receptor. When you're a scientist, some things you have to go back and reread because at some point there's so much information that your brain overloads. So that's pharmacodynamics. What does the drug do at the cellular and the protein and the molecular level to exert its therapeutic benefit? Let's see, can I think of another example of a drug right now? How about I'm thinking of an intercalating agent. No. How about one of the statins? Like one of the statins. I can't think of all the. There were so many of them in the early 2000s, but basically the way the statins worked was they inhibited an enzyme called HMG-CoA reductase, and those inhibited the body's ability to create new cholesterol. So that was a cholesterol lowering strategy. If you go back to the early 2000s, when I was in graduate school, you were seeing commercials all over the place for the statins. So that's pharmacodynamics. And so let's have a short discussion on how the immune system works, and then we'll talk about this new strategy for treating malaria. So there are whole classes on immunology. There are research labs across the United States and around the world, conducting research on immunology. There are textbooks and all kinds of materials. There are even links online that you can go and read about. But I'm just going to focus on just some very, very specific aspects of it. And so in terms of our immune systems, I believe I heard Nicole say this, and I haven't read up on my immunology in a while, so I had to read about this briefly and piece it all back together. But you have two immune systems. You have your innate, which if I recall correctly, you get that from your mother, and so that's kind of built in. And then as you progress throughout life, you have your adaptive immune system, and that's as the name implies, in that your immune system starts to adapt itself to what you experience out in the world and in the environment. And it's the adaptive immune system that's impacted when you start going to school and you have to get your immunizations, for things like measles and polio and, I can't think of all of those, but that's your adaptive immune system. So basically what happens is you have B cells. When HIV was big in the 1980s, there was a lot of talk about how the immune system works. There are several cell lines in there, but for the sake of this video, I want to focus on the B cells. The B cells are the cells that generate antibodies. the point I'm trying to get you to see is that our B cells generate antibodies, and antibodies are the body's ways of identifying foreign invaders, whether it's a microbe, whether it's a virus. The antibodies, if you go back to my Western blot analysis video, the antibodies have a recognition region called a paratope. And those antibodies are raised or generated against an epitope, which is a specific sequence on the antigen. The antigen is the actual foreign body that our immune system has targeted and attacks when it is seeking to defend the body. So when you think about an immunization or the V word, which I won't say, what you're doing is you're priming the body to be on high alert for a specific antigen. And as I'm shooting this, I'm recalling in the previous video about the Plasmodium and malaria. We got that lesson from our zoology professor, Dr. Thompson, Dr. E. Thompson. I'm sure he won't mind if I shout him out, but I specifically remember him in class trying to get us to differentiate between the antibody and the antigen. The antigen is the foreign particle, and the antibody is the detection mechanism for identifying that foreign invader. So with that, let's talk about the strategy for this immunization therapeutic for malaria. So guys and gals, I'm gonna end this video with a discussion of how this new immunization therapeutic for malaria works. So again, I covered in great detail the life cycle of the Plasmodium in the last video, so I'm not going to do that now. You can go back and watch it. But I have my diagram up right now, and if you recall correctly, the Plasmodium is transferred to humans from mosquitoes, from the gut of the mosquito when it goes in to take our blood. Mosquitoes are dreadful creatures. The Plasmodium goes into our bloodstream. And so what happens is something called a sporozoite goes into the liver, and that's when it matures, and then it breaks back out into your bloodstream, because the liver is basically it basically detoxifies our blood. So all of our blood, eventually it goes through the liver before going back to the lungs for circulation throughout our body. So it's a very, very efficient parasite in terms of getting in our bodies and getting what it needs. But in any case, it goes into the liver, it matures, and then it turns out that there's a protein expressed on the outside of that particular on the outside of the Plasmodium in that particular life stage, and it's called the Circumsporozooite Protein. So what the scientists were able to do was they were able to generate a peptide with sequences similar to that protein. And if my notes here say that it's the Circumsporozooite protein fused to the hepatitis B surface antigen. So they basically made a preparation of this protein, and it's got a specific repeat region, and they were able to raise antibodies against that repeat region. And so in terms of pharmacodynamics, once a person's immune system is primed with that antigen, when the Plasmodium goes in and into the liver, and it's shown on this diagram here. Once the Plasmodium goes into the liver and it wants to reproduce and go back into the circulation, the antibodies bind to that protein on the Plasmodium, and its life cycle is disrupted. So that's how this thing works, and it's a similar in a way, it's similar to the immunization for our current world event in that, well, one of the immunizations uses a nucleic acid. I don't want to say what the nucleic acid is. You guys have heard about it ad nauseum at this point. But instead of using a protein, that immunization for our current world event is using a nucleic acid. But there's another form of that immunization that's using a traditional, should I say it, a traditional adenovirus mechanism. So, guys, that's all I want. Guys and gals, people, subscribers, viewers, that's what I wanted to say about this new immunization therapeutic strategy for malaria. And again, if you want to hear some more about the entire life cycle of the Plasmodium, go back and look at my video just focusing on the Plasmodium and its life cycle in malaria. So, with that, I'm going to stop this video here. Thank you all for watching. Once again, if you want to throw something in the tip jar, that information is below this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Be safe out there, and let me know if you have any questions. Science is not just about me talking to the audience, but also the audience asking questions. And I want to thank everyone who supported the channel. I've done lots of live streams with interesting guests with very interesting skill sets, and I have more on the way, so I want to thank everyone who's supported the channel. Be safe out there, everyone. Again, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.